Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the northwest corner of the map, playing in red, we've got Crackedyhere, playing as the Byzantines, and his opponent in the southeast, playing in blue, we've got Khaos, playing as the Abbasid dynasty. Welcome everyone to Golden Pit. That's the map for today, and it's been a while. I've been away doing other things, and well, I was away sick for a while, but I'm back and live and kicking. We were doing some Stormgate content as well, so if Stormgate piques your interest, I do have a separate YouTube channel for that, so if you're watching on YouTube, might want to think about checking that out if it's something that piques your interest. But if it's not, and you're just here for the Age of Empires 4, well, hey, I'm here, so I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully, for now, anyway, at least. But yeah, I'm excited for this matchup, Byzantines versus the Abbasid dynasty. Now, it's been a while since I've casted Age of Empires 4, so I'm a bit rusty. I know we've had a new patch, some things have changed recently, so it's going to get me some time to get back in the swing of things, but what better way than to get stuck in and cast. Khaos getting a lot of sheep, which is going to be very nice for that food economy. Abbasid dynasty going over with one of the vanilla civilizations. I've missed it. We've missed you, Abbasid dynasty. It's been a while. Now, being able to access fresh foodstuffs and possibly economy wing opening could be nice for that economy and really booming away. Question is, what will the Abbasid dynasty do against the Byzantines? The Byzantines, they've been a bit of an interesting civilization, a bit of a journey since the beginning. Players figuring them out and seeing what they like to do. It seems like these days they've got a really nice power spike in the castle age. The question is whether they get there. The question is, well, against the Abbasid dynasty, they should. Abbasid dynasty tend not to pack too much of a punch in the early game, so there should be no real issues for the Byzantines to successfully get to that castle age, and that's when they really start to pack a punch with a good amount of units. That's where their economy starts to come online as well. Bear in mind that the water level is essentially what governs their economy, the cistern. It takes some time to get there, but once you do start to build the water level up, which again tends to come out of peak at around about the castle age, not so much peak, but it starts to gather momentum at least in the castle age, it can really start to spiral that economy nicely. Going on to the berry bushes now at Crackedy. Those villagers, what's going on? Is he run out of sheep? Not got many. Where's the scout? Oh, he's got many, just not where he needs it just yet. Going to be going up with the Grand Winery. Going to be giving him access to a little bit more olive oil than usual, 60% more. And it's certainly a nice landmark. I think it's coming back into prominence. There's been a bit of a yo-yoing. I think Grand Winery is pretty popular at the early stages of the Sultan's Ascent DLC. Then it started to trickle into the Imperial Hippodrome. Obviously, depending on the matchups and whatnot and the maps, but the Imperial Hippodrome started to get a bit more prominence with the nice couple of upgrades they get, especially from that landmark. And now we're switching back to the Grand Winery. So the olive oil will give it access to nice mercenary units. We'll have to see. All right, the Abbasid dynasty going up with a culture wing. Interesting enough, he really wants to go quickly to the next stage. Going to give access to the preservation of knowledge, of course, and then cheaper upgrades. Interesting approach. To see how that works out for him. The preservation of knowledge will also give him a cheaper tech up to the next stage. By 20%. So maybe looking for a fast castle. It's not often we see that with the Abbasid dynasty. Could it be something we see today? We'll have to see. Relying on the berries for now. I do love the approach for the Abbasid dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate and the Ayyubids. Often relying on the berry bushes nice and early just to take advantage of the faster gather rate that they have. But also allows them to preserve the sheep for later, just in case they need to retreat back and in case they're under pressure. Although, with the Grand Winery opening, it's a bit less likely for the Byzantines to put too much of a pressure on. Archer range coming out for the Abbasids. Now, I'd like to say a very big thank you for everyone supporting on YouTube or Twitch or whichever one it is. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you so much. I've missed you guys on Twitch, actually. I've got to say, I was a bit nervous starting up the stream today, thinking, well, I haven't casted Age of Empires 4 for a while. How will it go? What will I say? What will I do? But, it's been going well. Second town centre coming up for the Byzantines. Second town centre into a castle age, potentially, yeah? We'll have to see what Crackedy decides to do. Will he plonk down a production building? Maybe look to just rely on mercenary units. Can be often something they do. Would need a mercenary house to do so, though. Do start to see a camel archer popping out soon. Now we'll protect the berry bush, which will be nice for the olive oil, but also for the food. Now on Golden Pit, the map that we're on today, it's important to consider where the gold is. It's got a nice back gold here, crackety. A decent gold here for the abbasid, so it's one of the situations where this map, it allows players to stay at home for a while. Once it does get to the sort of the 20-minute mark, that's when you really do have to start thinking about middle security and getting the gold in the middle. Bear in mind that maybe the Byzantines are a little bit less reliant on gold, especially because of the fact that they can get units out with the olive oil and get those all-important mercenary units. The question is, which contract will he go up with, and where is that mercenary house? See, the second town centre will delay him a little bit in terms of getting production up. Going on to the wood now as we speak. Looking to secure that up. I like this choice, actually, by the way. The ability to wall up here. And this is one of the things we were talking about Age of Empires 4 and the RNG, and just having a look at the map, how it spawns for you. How you can play it to your advantage, and I love the fact that he's done this. It's a very nice, secure, safe woodland because of this. Very difficult for the Abbasid dynasty to pressurize any wood income there. And it looks like he's going to get an outpost on the gold as well, just to make sure he keeps that secure. Now, it could be a bit greedy to go for a 2-town centre fast castle, but that's something that Byzantines can sometimes opt to do. It'd be very risky to do that without any units, but against the Abbasid dynasty, it's probably one of the civilizations you could maybe get away with it. As I say that, though, it's going to be the miniature wing castle coming in now for the Abbasid, so it will be a fast castle for them, and it's been a while since we've seen the Abbasid dynasty do this, but it makes a lot of sense against the Byzantines. They want to match the castle age timing, but also possibly looking to get the relics on the map. Now, things have changed, haven't they? Imagine not seeing a second town centre from the Abbasid dynasty. It's not often I've been able to say that in recent history. Certainly an interesting way to play the Abbasid dynasty. Camel Archer just going to be harassing that woodland. I talked about not being able to harass or keeping this area safe, but the woodline is a bit thin there for Crackedy. Does cause a little bit of a problem for him. And I think it's more about the scout being there, right? So the scout was giving the vision to the Camel Archer. I'm not so sure the Camel Archer would see it otherwise. So trying to poke away at the scout. They're going to try and full wall this, actually. Yeah, playing is very greedy. Now, with the military wing coming out for the Abbasid dynasty, we'll give them access to some nice upgrades, boot camp and composite bows. With a stable and an archery range and a second stable going down. Could he start pumping those units out? Wheelbarrow coming in for chaos. Now, did he get fresh foodstuffs? He did indeed. So the fresh foodstuffs tech is in the town centre. Didn't always used to be that way, by the way. So if you're new to Age of Empires 4, it actually once was upon a time where you had to get the eco wing to get fresh foodstuffs, but how times have changed things. Now, Villager Lead is starting to establish itself for Crackedy, but before it really starts to pay dividends, it might take another 10-15 minutes or so. Slowly but surely we're getting there. There is that castle age. Now, what this does allow the Abbasid dynasty to do is potentially mop up those relics. Does he have enough wood for a mosque just yet? It looks like he has enough. I believe so. There we go. Just as we speak, 200 wood comes in. Question is, will he put that down yet or not? Now he's going for the mercenary house. Camel Archer can't quite range it. The villager, at least, that's building it. Which is the all-important thing. And we see lancers now. There's the mosque coming up for the Abbasids. Also adding in a camel rider. It'd be nice for that camel unease. So cavalry becomes a bit of an issue for the Byzantines choosing that. And bear in mind, it's actually only on one cistern. Although, no, there's a second cistern, just not connected up just yet. Gonna opt for a stable behind this. I gotta say, it feels like he's quite behind Crackedy in terms of the his road to that castle age. It'll take some time. But he's nice and walled up, which is all important, of course. Here come the cavalry. Gonna torch their way through. Plenty of olive oil, so could look to get some mercenaries. It's going to be the javelin throwers. Interesting choice. Now, I don't hate it because, of course, the Abbasid dynasty, they do sometimes opt for the composite bow archer line of things, and something the javelin throwers will do decently well against if they're needed. But of course, for now, the Abbasid dynasty mostly relying on cavalry. We might need some limitane for the Byzantines. Not a bad unit at all by any means to deal with that incoming issue. I think it's actually kind of interesting to think about. The limitane being able to use their shield wall ability against composite bow archers from the Abbasids and also do well against cavalry. It's a really nice unit in this matchup. The question is whether the Abbasid dynasty will bother with any archers in the first place. There are a couple of limitane cavalry riding in for the Abbasid dynasty. They have broken through, but limitane on hand to push away a couple of those lancers. Villagers being dragged away, causing some idle time. Does take out one lancer to the TC fire. Limitane engaging, but not enough quite just yet to do with his number of lancers. At least not these two, but it's going to be taking some hits on the town centre. No, nothing garrison inside the town centre just yet. The big problem for the Byzantines is as the limitane pop out, they are being sniped, but overall they'll still trade decently well, even in low numbers. Javelin throwers, though, need to back away from the cavalry. Cavalry will do well against them. Needs to garrison inside as much as possible in the town centre if you can. Villagers have been pushed away. 20 of them idled here for Crackedy. So despite the villager lead, a lot of the economy is temporarily idled. I stress temporarily. Because, of course, what matters is that they are now back out working. Out onto the berries. We'll get some valuable olive oil. This is certainly the pressure point. But for the Byzantines to be really under pressure, he would have to go through these town centres. And limitane are going to be in good numbers now. Bear in mind, relics have been being brought in. 2 already in the bag for the Abbasid dynasty. 2 more on the field. Easily accessible for them at least. 3rd one is coming in already. Still no switch into ranged units for the Abbasids. Going to charge in and maybe take out a village or 2, although he might sacrifice those 2 lancers, 3 lancers in fact. He does get sandwiched in. That's kind of a bit of a throwaway. Loses a camel archer too. Still trying to get as much value by killing javelin throwers, but going to back away. Pull the limitane away back. But Byzantines now fully walled up again. Going to be the Golden Horn Tower, the Byzantines going up to the castle age, and he's held on well here. He needed to. He's got 20 villager lead. That's going to really put him in a good spot. The Abbasids just haven't been able to do the damage they've wanted to. He lent very heavily into the cavalry without any archer support and allows the limitane to do exactly what they need to do. So many of them. Bear in mind, he does have the cistern water level 2. Give a nice villager gather rate increase up to now 14%. Used to be 10. But a nice bit of boosting there from the most recent patch, I suspect. Coming now from the east side. The big concern for the Abbasid dynasty, this kickback from the Byzantines. When they do get to the castle age, we talked about at the beginning of the cast, this is where they become really powerful. With the veterancy upgrades for the limitane, a decent amount of olive oil would have been brought in for mercenaries. And starting to get that water level 3. Is this open? Doesn't seem like it. Crackedy playing it carefully, make sure they doesn't overchop. But he's going to need that water level 3 before these units drop in if he can. There it is. It'll be a nice bit of boosting. 18% villager gather rate. Of course, a lot of the villagers are idle though. And there it is. Crackedy gets to that castle age. This is where the Abbasid dynasty feel a little bit of pressure to do some damage. We'll get a villager or 2 maybe. We should do. Maybe not. Javelin throwers pushing this back. The villagers chopping away on the other side. Crackedy now is keeping his villagers working, which is really important. Lovely use of the gate. A lot of players less adept will forget about gates, allow the villagers just to go across in and outside the base easily and keep them working and active. There's no rest for the Byzantine villagers, not today at least. Mangonel being built on the field, and you can feel the pressure that the Abbasid dynasty are under. He's not been able to do the damage he's wanted to, and Crackedy has a significant villager lead, which will translate quite nicely at this stage of the game into a bigger military. He's going to need to find a solution against the mangonel, though. That could be a bit dicey. We'll see what he does against it. Now with 5 relics and a sacred site, it might not have to be a full all-in here for the Abbasid dynasty. I think there is a time, there's a pivot, maybe a minute earlier, maybe 1.5 minutes earlier, where he could have actually opted for a second town center, play a bit more of the macro game. The question is, would he want to go against... Oh, that's a massive mangonel shot. I mean, the question is, would he want to go against the Byzantines late game? The Abbasid dynasty are no slouches in the late game, I've got to say, but that great mangonel shot does push the Byzantines back ever so slightly. Another great mangonel shot does a lot of damage. Now, they don't always hit. But he's managed to hit this time. Village on the woodline backing away. Lancers might dive on top of that. The archers going to help take care of those Limitane, but the Limitane might just drop their shields. We take the reduced damage of 40%. It's a big deal. Sacred Site has been captured. 2 of them on the map, of course, and that's a large mass of units, though. I mean, Crackedy, he's got to be careful. Mangonel deploys once again, gets another massive shot. And will he get a sprinkled out or not? I'm not so sure. I see a siege workshop. Takes another big shot. Nope, doesn't. Misses everything. Needs to protect that Mangonel. Maybe dive a little bit too deep here, possibly. Mangonel deploys on the javelin throws, gets another massive hit. The Lancer's about to dive in, but it's going to hit against those javelin throws. And those Limitanes getting a lot of those numbers down, keeping the Mangonel alive. Khaos is causing just that in the Byzantine army, in the Byzantine base. 15 villages garrison inside. Now, will the villages actually pop out? There's always an opportunity to maybe pop out and torch down that mangonel, but it's a bit risky with those archers there. Lancers picking off these stray units. Backing off there. Water level 5 reached here for the Byzantines. Mangonel is being target fired by the town center, which is important. Maybe the Limitano might torch it down. Breakthrough. Couple of archers still alive. Mangonel alive for now, but only for now. I think it will go down. 16 HP on that guy. 7 HP. Survives for now. Could get another shot off potentially. Needs to make the most value out of it. Camel Riders will deal with this. The Byzantines have Camel Riders of their own. Down to 9 military here, Crackedy. If he can survive, he still has a good, healthy village account. But it's a big if he can survive. A bit of an onslaught. What I would say is, though, that maybe Khaos doesn't have the siege that he needs to do the infrastructural damage. And water level 5 means his villagers 26% extra gather rate. Uh-oh, he's being caught on the other side of the wall. This is an issue. A lot of Lancers caught on the wrong side, though. He's going to get surrounded the Lancer, but again, the Lancers are pretty tanky. Wait, Lancer's not attacking. Hey! What's he doing? Now he's attacking. He gets the memo. That's an issue. And the villagers will take him down eventually, but it allows time for more Lancers to pop by through. This is definitely a pressure point for Crackedy. He needs to secure this area. A lot of villagers, and he will secure it now. Here come the Limitane, and here come the javelin throws. And it should be okay, but he's going to lose a lot of villagers. He's killed 21 so far. The Abbasid dynasty getting great value. That second town center still means is ahead by quite a significant number. Archers going to range those villages on the wood line. It's becoming an issue. Now he's had a hard transition to olive groves, which will gather a lot of olive oil as well as food. And that accounts for the lack of units that the Byzantines have at this point. Obviously not been able to venture out on the map and get the deer camps. He's going to burn his way through. Large number of army units coming forward from the right side and the left. The Abbasid playing still one heavy town centre. Plenty of gold in the bank. Getting some stone as well. The question is whether they'll go for a forward keep. It's always an option. Don't forget the sacred site timer has been activated. 6 minutes 50 seconds on that timer. And it's going to lose a lot of villagers. Crackedy, he's going to have less villagers than the Abbasid dynasty before too long. 61 apiece. It's lost 38 in total. Starting to build up a bit of a massive an army, though, that he could defend with, potentially. Archer numbers looking decent. Limitane still chasing. Byzantine army, no fear. Despite being outnumbered, units on the west side. Oh, these archers could do so well in this gold area here. The Abbasid dynasty have boomed away. Look at that. 3 town centers. It wasn't for a keep in the end. We talked about the potential pivot point to a macro game, and the Abbasid dynasty, they're obliging. He's done a lot of damage, and he doesn't want to throw this away. This is a nice play by Khaos, I've got to say. sometimes there's an urge to maybe see the game out, and maybe that was always an option, but he chose something a bit different. He chose to pivot to a macro game. Question is, will it be the right choice? I mean, one thing to bear in mind is that the Abbasid dynasty do have the ability to have siege engineering for free, so could have potentially made mass rams with the archers he has. Doesn't have the wood for it, of course. He spent a lot on the town centers. Plenty of gold in the bank. It might need a market actually to rebalance his economy. His economy is out of kilt quite significantly. Gonna go out to the deer camp on the right side. It's an interesting thing to think about. In the last 2 to 3 minutes, he's made a very significant decision. Rather than trying to see the game out, he thought, let's macro it up and play a bit of a more of a delayed approach to this game and see if we can win it in the mid to late game. A big concern about allowing the Byzantines to survive a bit longer, though, is that the olive oil is coming in. Mercenaries are coming in. And I love the fact that the Byzantines can get camel riders. I think it's a really nice unique unit for them. Well, not unique, but a nice approach for them. Because these lancers, they will be affected by the camel unease coming in. That's going to be a 20% less damage. It's very significant. You see the purple hue around them. Decent number of archers. Now, I will check just in a moment if he has got boot camp. I hope for the Abbasid dynasty he has. It's a really important upgrade. As well as composite bows, of course. Does have both. Can I get the attack upgrade as well for the ranged units? And that has plenty of olive groves. Holy moly. One thing to consider though, there is only 4 minutes on the sacred site timer. Getting an outpost and a villager. This is something that actually I think Khaos needs to pay attention to. Sure, he's on 3 town centers. He's probably feeling confident about his villager count, but there's no reason to cheaply throw away a potential win condition here. And the win condition he has. He's going to send the army there now on the west side. And he will take care of that pretty soon. That's a lot of army they're building up for Crackedy. It feels like he's going for a timing attack. I mean, bear in mind one thing to consider is kind of scary for the Abbasid dynasty. Taking into 3 town centers, it means that a lot of his economy is being fueled into more villages, which again takes time to pay off, right? It's going to take at least 10-15 minutes, which you might not have. The pendulum is swinging. You get the feeling that Crackedy here with the army that he has, he's going to start to push out soon. Then this is an army that it's going to be difficult to deal with. He's got javelin throwers, he's got Varangian guards, he's got spearmen, or limitani I should say, and he's got camel riders, he's got crossbows as well. It's got a little bit of everything. You factor in the Abbasid dynasty mostly have cavalry and a couple of crossbows added in and archers. It's going to become very difficult to deal with. Sacred site, no, don't let this go. Khaos, he's gonna, oh no, he's lost the sacred site timer. And that's a big deal because Crackedy here has a large army, almost double the army numbers. And because of that pendulum swing, because of this switch into macro play here, Khaos is going to need to have static defenses. Only a couple of palisade walls won't cut it. Might need a keep or 2. It might need to just buy the keep, to be honest, at this stage. He's got plenty of gold in the bank, but he might be a bit reluctant to do so. Because if he is under pressure soon, then he will lose access to gold. But if he loses access to gold, and if he's under pressure, he'll lose the game. A keep here might be a good, nice spot for him, but the trouble is he doesn't have the stone for it. Does he have a market? I think it's something he needs. He's looking for a 4th town centre. Holy moly. I think it was an interesting choice. I'm a bit worried about the choice that he's made, because the issue is when you pivot to an economy and macro game like that, unless you've done super amounts of damage to your opponent, like, your opponent's going to be on 90 villages. He's on 90 villages now, but at the time he was probably at 50, 60. It's not a lot, but it's a significant amount that he can supply an army. And that army has been supplied. Take a look at this. This is looking problematic. The Byzantines are starting to pile on the pressure. Does have 70 military units of his own here, Khaos. But he needs to hold. Here come the man, or the Ghulam, I should say, for the Abbasid dynasty, tanking against the Limitane. Limitane, relatively cheaper units. They will be okay to tank. Javelin throws working on those archers. We talked about this important army composition. The javelin throws offering so much value, even up against the composite bow archers. Camel lancers coming from the right side. Will be using the Camelanese on those lancers. And all of a sudden, the Byzantine army, he's got all the right counters. He's got the Varangian Guards for the archers. He's got the javelin throwers for the archers. He's got the Limitane for the cavalry. He's got the camel riders for the cavalry. His army is completely countered. The Abbasid dynasty dwindling down to 30 military. The Byzantines going to push through in the middle and it's going to secure gold access for the foreseeable future, but probably a lot more than that. It's going to secure a lot of map control. It's going to secure the pressure. The pendulum has completely swung the other way. That choice to switch to macro play might be the thing that switches this game. He's struggling. 91 military versus 33. He's standing and fighting, but the Abbasid dynasty, he doesn't have enough. This could be the GG. Crackedy diving in, fighting in the stealth forest. He's got plenty of military. He's going to overswarm this army for sure. Here comes another batch on the back line. Take a look at the reinforcements coming for the Byzantines. The Abbasid dynasty going to be pushed off to gold very soon. Getting the forward production bonus, but it seems a little bit too little too late. Whilst he has a strong economy, the military is not there to support. Before too long, the Byzantine army will dive on the village account. This is looking dicey. Down to 15 military. Ultimately, it's army that wins Age of Empire 4 games. It looks like Byzantines might be winning this one. He needs to find a way to solve this issue. He needs to find to stop the bleeding, stop this army pushing further forward. One good thing for the Abbasid dynasty, the Byzantines have a distinct lack of siege. But he might make up for that by killing villagers. He's really starting to push in. Bear in mind, there's only 2 landmarks, so if he does get siege engineering, well, he doesn't need it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Khaos taps out. Crackedy with a great timing push after taking a lot of losses. The macro approach just didn't quite work out for the Abbasid dynasty today. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game, and if you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. Take care, and see you next time.